The general continued in the same calm tone and said, "I think I should have checked the pen drive personally before going to the chief." Such powerful example of leadership, of owning up and supporting the team. Hello everyone. Today I like to share with you an incident which was narrated to me by a very dear friend, late Brigadier Bharat Singh Rawat. And I'm sharing this incident with you because it beautifully encapsulates the spirit of the topic that I am going to discuss with you. It goes back to the period when Bharat was posted in the army headquarters and his boss, a lieutenant general, was to go and brief the chief for a policy matter. So in the evening, when the general went to the chief's office, unfortunately the pen drive carrying the presentation did not open up. Consequently, the general had to do a makeshift arrangement and brief the chief verbally. Next morning, when Bharat went to the office, he was prepared for a dressing down by his boss and an admonition for the incident that happened the day before. And when Bharat went to the general's office, the general looked at him and calmly asked, "Bharat, did you come to know of the incident yesterday?" And before Bharat could defensively reply, the general continued in the same calm tone and said, "I think I should have checked the pen drive personally before going to the chief." Such powerful example of leadership, of owning up and supporting the team. I'm going to take lessons out of this incident as I proceed with our topic today. And if you would all recall, over the last 2-3 podcasts, I've shared with you what accountability is, how it is different from responsibility, and we have realized that accountability is a leadership imperative and not just a management tactic. So from today onwards, I'm going to share with you some steps, some actions which leaders can take to create a culture of accountability in their organizations. And my talk is inspired by the work done by leading thought leader on this subject, Michael Timms. Michael Timms has suggested a 3-step framework for leaders to imbibe if they want to create a culture of accountability. And let's begin with the step 1, which is don't blame. How you respond when things go wrong, when you hit a roadblock, is critical. If as a leader, your immediate response is to blame your team, or your instinct is to identify and fix the person responsible, then I am afraid you are creating a culture of blame. A culture that erodes trust and a culture which silences learning. In such a culture, people tend to hide their mistakes. Their mistakes don't surface, and also they don't take ownership. Referring to the example of the general, in Bharat's view, it had a transformational impact on him and his team. Not only did they all get together to review what they could have done better for this particular situation, but they also resolved that going forward, they're going to make sure that they look at all eventualities or things small and big. And as Michael Timms has beautifully put it, when leaders blame, people retreat. But when leaders take ownership, people step up. And the step 2, look into the mirror to ask yourself the question, what was my role in this? And even if you were not directly connected with any actions of the failure, it's good to ask yourself the question, what could I have done better? Were the expectations clearly set? Was the support given adequate? Is there something else that we could have done as a team? I could have done as a leader. And in the example that we shared, the general reflected back, and instead of blaming his team, the general identified a few action items that he needs to take in future. And now we'll move to the 3rd step of the process that leaders can take to create a culture of accountability. And this step is engineer solutions. Because accountability is not about identifying problems, but it's about identifying solutions to the problems. Because once the blame is set aside, introspection is done, then you reach a stage of having collaborative problem solving. You start asking questions like, what can we do better next time? What are the areas that our team needs to look into? And in this particular example, the general not only identified a few actions that he would take in future so that such a thing does not occur, but also created trust, earned confidence of his team, and demonstrated accountability in action. He basically set the tone for his team to follow. And I like to conclude today by sharing that these 3 steps to cultivate accountability are not a checklist. They are a mindset shift, because when leaders start modeling accountability, others follow. So a request to you, next time when you meet a setback, when you hit a roadblock, look inside and see how you react. Can you use that opportunity to model accountability to create that culture in your teams? And going forward, in the next few episodes, I'm going to dive deep into each of these 3 steps and share with you my thoughts on them. Till then, bye-bye, Jai Hind.